Now, Iran's military has threatened to completely shut down the strategic Strait of Hormuz, and that is if U.S. President acts on threats to target the country's power plants.
If the United States threats regarding Iran's power plants are carried out, the following punitive measures will be taken immediately. 1. The Strait of Hormuz will be completely closed, and it will not be reopened until our destroyed power plants are rebuilt. 2. All power plants, energy, and information and communications technology, ICT, infrastructure of the Zionist regime will be widely targeted. 3. All similar companies in the region that have American shareholders will be completely destroyed. 4. The power plants of the countries in the region that host American bases will be our legitimate targets.
Now, this is in addition to its threat of striking desalination infrastructure across West Asia if its power infrastructure is hit. Hossein Kermanpour, Iran's health ministry spokesperson, has also warned of humanitarian catastrophe from strikes on power and water systems. He compared it to the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As Trump's 48-hour deadline looms, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said his country would not be swayed by more threats, while adding that the strait is not closed. In a post on X, he said, and I'm quoting, "Ships hesitate because insurers fear the war of choice you initiated and not Iran," quote unquote. 20% of the world's crude oil and liquefied natural gas normally passes through Hormuz. But traffic through the vital strait has been brought to a near standstill since the start of the war. In recent days, Iran has allowed some vessels from the countries it considers friendly to pass through, while warning it would block ships from countries it says have joined the aggression against it. Iran's parliament is mulling imposing tolls on shipping through the strait. Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said maritime traffic would not return to its pre-war status. Amid this, Iranians in the capital, Tehran, staged a pro-government rally on Sunday. Many waved Iranian flags and others held images of new leader Mojtaba Khamenei. The war is now in its fourth week, and Israel and the U.S. continue their strikes on Iran. And in the latest, the Israeli army has said it has launched large-scale wave of strikes in Tehran. Blasts were also heard in the Iranian capital. Earlier, the U.S. Central Command released new videos showing strikes on various military targets in Iran. In a post on X, CENTCOM said the U.S. forces continue to eliminate the Iranian regime's one-way attack drone capabilities. And this as Trump's Treasury Secretary says the U.S. may escalate its attack against Iran to be able to wind down the war.
I think he said he could wind the war down at any time he wants. And, Kristen, this is the only language the Iranians understand.
Iran also continues its retaliatory strikes. At least one Iranian missile-carrying cluster warhead was seen in the night sky over Jerusalem and the occupied West Bank and Israel after midnight on Monday. It is yet to be confirmed whether it was more than one missile that was spotted, with smaller bombs spreading out. Israel has warned its citizens to expect weeks of more fighting against Iran. UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain have also reported interception of Iranian drones. Now, to discuss West Asia war, we were earlier joined by Nadir Hashmi, Associate Professor of Middle East and Islamic politics at Georgetown University. And here's what he had to say in the current situation. Let's listen in.
Well, it looks like we're headed for a monumental and catastrophic disaster. And the primary person responsible for this disaster is the President of the United States, Donald Trump. He clearly has bitten off more than he can chew. He thought that Iran was Venezuela and that he could simply send a major American military armada on Iran's shores and that Iran would then capitulate like Venezuela did in early January. And he had no plan B. So now that Iran is fighting back, Donald Trump really doesn't know what to do except escalate, hoping that he can declare some sort of victory. But it's clear that Iran still has a lot of firepower, a lot of stamina, and an ability to shut the Straits of Hormuz. So my own reading is that we are headed for very dark days if Donald Trump acts on his promise to attack Iran's electricity infrastructure, and then Iran hits back at regional states. Then this war is going to increase exponentially in terms of its lethality, its destabilizing effects, and especially its effects on the global economy.